Hey everyone, welcome back to Speak English with Mishu. I'm Emily, and as always, I'm joined by Liam. How's it going, Liam?
I'm doing well, Emily. My week's been full of little lessons. Sometimes silence teaches you more than words. How about you?
Funny you say that. This week, I had a big moment. I was in a group discussion, and instead of trying to prove myself, I just listened. I stayed quiet, took notes, and focused on my own thoughts. Guess what? At the end, when I finally spoke, people actually listened. My silence gave my words more power.
Wow, that's such a powerful experience, and it connects so well with today's topic. Focus on yourself and stay silent. We live in a noisy world where everyone wants to talk, post, or prove something, but sometimes silence and self-focus can be your biggest strength.
Exactly. So today we'll explore why focusing on yourself and embracing silence isn't weakness. It's actually a smart way to grow, protect your energy, and become stronger in life and in English learning.
And to everyone listening, let me ask you, have you ever felt like talking less made you feel more powerful? Hold on to that thought, because by the end of this episode, you'll see silence in a whole new way. So, Emily, let's break this down. When we say focus on yourself and stay silent, we don't mean ignoring the world or never speaking up. It's more about protecting your mind, saving your energy, and choosing your words wisely.
Right. Think about it. Most people waste so much energy proving themselves to others. They argue, they explain, they talk and talk. But at the end of the day, does it really help? Sometimes silence is louder than words.
Exactly. And for English learners, this is important too. You don't need to speak all the time to prove you're improving. Sometimes listening carefully, observing how words are used, and focusing on your own growth can make you stronger than just talking without purpose.
You know, silence is also a form of discipline. When you stop reacting to every little thing, you gain control. You show yourself and others that your peace matters more than winning an argument.
That's why today's topic matters in daily life. If you focus on yourself, you grow. If you stay silent when needed, you protect your peace. Together, these habits can change your life, your relationships, and even how confidently you speak English.
So let's go deeper. Let's talk about the real life problems people face when they can't focus on themselves and when they can't stay silent. Let's be honest, most of us struggle with this. We live in a world where everyone wants attention. People post everything on social media, argue in comments, and talk loudly just to be noticed. But inside, many of them still feel empty.
True. And think about students or young professionals. Many of them waste hours comparing themselves to others. Oh, he speaks better English than me. She has more confidence than me. Instead of focusing on their own progress, they lose energy worrying about others.
And it's not just about comparison. Sometimes silence feels uncomfortable. Like if you're in a group and everyone's talking, you feel pressure to say something, even if it adds no value. Then later, you regret saying it.
Exactly. Or maybe you've had this experience, someone criticizes you, and your first reaction is to defend yourself quickly. But after the argument, you think, why did I waste so much energy proving my point?
Yes, that's the trap. Talking too much, reacting too fast, and focusing too much on others, it drains your peace and slows your growth.
And the sad part, many people don't realize they're stuck in this cycle. They think being loud makes them strong. But often it's the opposite. Silence and self-focus bring real strength.
Which is why today's lesson is so important. If you don't learn how to focus on yourself and when to stay silent, you'll keep losing energy in useless battles. And that means less time and power for your real goals, like improving English, building your career, or finding peace in life.
So, Emily, let's talk about why people find it so hard to focus on themselves and stay silent. What's really happening inside?
Good point. One big reason is insecurity. When people don't feel confident, they try to cover it up by talking more, proving themselves, or always reacting. Deep down, they're afraid of being ignored or forgotten.
Yes, and another cause is social pressure. Society teaches us, speak up or you'll be left behind. People think silence means weakness, but in reality, silence can be wisdom.
There's also ego. The ego whispers, don't let them win. Don't let them think you're wrong. And so we argue, we talk too much. We forget that silence can sometimes say, I'm stronger than this.
And logically, there's lack of focus. When you're always watching what others are doing, you lose track of your own goals. You spend hours comparing instead of improving yourself.
Exactly. Emotionally, it feels like noise inside your mind. And logically, it wastes your time and energy. This combination makes people tired, frustrated, and stuck.
But here's the good news. Once you understand these causes, you can change them. You can choose to shift your focus back to yourself, and you can learn the art of silence.
And that's what we're about to explore. Practical solutions to help you focus on yourself and stay silent when it matters most. All right, let's jump into the first solution. If you want to focus on yourself and stay silent, the best starting point is self-awareness.
That's powerful. Self-awareness means paying attention to your own thoughts, emotions, and reactions. For example, before you respond in an argument, ask yourself, do I really need to say this? Will it help me or will it just waste my energy?
Exactly. A simple trick is the pause rule. Before you reply to anything, whether it's in conversation or even a text message, pause for a few seconds. Take a breath. That small silence gives you power.
And for English learners, this is golden. Instead of rushing to speak and making mistakes, pause, think, collect your words. This silence makes your English sound clearer and more confident.
I've actually used this in my own life. In class discussions, I used to jump in quickly, but when I started pausing, people saw me as more thoughtful. My words carried more weight. Silence gave me respect.
So, solution 1 is practice self-awareness by pausing before reacting. This small act helps you stay silent when silence is more powerful, and it helps you focus on your real goals instead of distractions.
And once you master this pause, you'll realize silence isn't weakness. It's a skill that makes you stronger, calmer, and more focused.
Let's move to the second solution. If you want to focus on yourself, you must set boundaries.
Oh, yes, boundaries are like invisible walls that protect your peace. For example, if someone always drags you into gossip or useless arguments, you don't need to respond every time. Sometimes silence is your boundary.
Exactly. And boundaries also mean knowing when to say no. If your friend wants to waste hours chatting, but you need to study English, it's okay to stay silent and focus on your work. That silence isn't rude, it's respect for your goals.
Here's something interesting. People who respect themselves don't explain themselves too much. They don't say, oh, sorry, I can't because with a long story. They just say, I can't right now. That's it. Silence fills the rest.
Yes, and it works in English practice too. Instead of explaining why you're shy or why you're not perfect, just keep learning quietly. Surprise people later with your improvement.
That's so true. Silence while you work creates noise later with your results. People will see the progress and you won't even need to explain.
So solution 2 is set boundaries and protect your energy with silence. Don't waste your words on gossip, arguments, or endless explanations. Save them for what matters.
Because the more you protect your energy, the more you'll focus on yourself. And when you focus on yourself, you grow faster than ever. Now, let's move to the third solution. Use silence as a tool for observation.
I love that. Most people think silence is empty, but actually, silence is full of learning. When you're quiet, you notice details that others miss, the tone of someone's voice, the meaning behind their words, or even your own feelings.
Exactly. Think about English learners. If you sit quietly in a group and really listen to how people use words, you'll pick up natural expressions, pronunciation, and even cultural habits. Silence becomes your teacher.
Yes, I remember when I was improving my English, I'd go to cafes and just listen to conversations around me. I wasn't spying, I was studying. That silent observation taught me phrases that no textbook ever did.
Same here. Once I stayed quiet during a long conversation with native speakers. I only spoke a little, but I learned so many new phrases just by listening. Later, when I used those phrases, people were surprised at how natural I sounded.
That's the magic. Silence helps you observe, and observation helps you grow, whether it's language learning, relationships, or personal growth.
So, solution 3 is turn silence into your classroom. Observe, listen, and learn instead of always rushing to talk.
Because the more you observe in silence, the sharper your mind becomes. And when you finally speak, your words carry wisdom. Okay, let's go to the fourth solution. This one is powerful. Invest your silence into personal growth.
I love that. Instead of wasting words in arguments or endless chatter, use your quiet time to build yourself. Read books, practice English, meditate, or work on your goals. Silence becomes fuel for progress.
Yes, think about it. Some of the most successful people in the world are not the loudest. They're the ones who worked quietly, focused on themselves, and let their results speak later.
Exactly. It's like planting a seed. You don't shout at the ground, grow, grow, grow. You water it silently, take care of it, and one day it grows into a strong tree. That's what self-focus and silence do for your life.
And for English learners, this is gold. Instead of telling everyone, I'm learning English, I'll be fluent soon, just study silently. One day, when you speak fluently, people will see your hard work without you saying a word.
That's so true. Silence plus effort equals powerful results. It's better to shock people with your growth than to explain your plans all the time.
So, solution 4 is use your silence as an investment in yourself. Build skills, knowledge, and strength in private.
Because when the right time comes, your success will make all the noise for you. Now, Liam, let's be real. Focusing on yourself and staying silent sounds great, but it's not always easy. What do you think are the biggest obstacles people face?
One big obstacle is the fear of being misunderstood. People think, if I stay quiet, others will think I'm weak, shy, or unimportant. That fear pushes them to talk when silence would actually be wiser.
True. Another obstacle is the urge to defend yourself. The moment someone criticizes you, your ego jumps in, say something back. But sometimes silence is the best defense. It confuses negativity and protects your peace.
Yes, and let's not forget impatience. Many people want results quickly. They can't stay silent during the process. They announce their goals loudly, then lose motivation when results take time.
That's so common. I've done that myself, telling everyone about a plan before even starting. Later, I realized that working quietly would have saved me pressure and embarrassment.
Exactly. Another challenge is social pressure. Friends might say, "Why are you so quiet? Why don't you speak more?" And it's hard to explain that your silence is actually a choice, not a weakness.
The good news is these obstacles can be overcome. If you understand your fears, control your ego, and remind yourself of your goals, silence becomes easier.
Right, and every time you choose silence instead of reaction, you're building inner strength. It's like exercising a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger you get.
Exactly. And that strength is what makes silence and self-focus so powerful. All right, Liam, let's do a little role play to practice what we've discussed. Imagine this. You're in a group discussion and someone criticizes your English. What do you do?
Okay, I'll try. Hmm, thank you for your feedback. And then I pause. I don't argue. I focus on learning from it.
Perfect. That pause is key. Now, what if someone keeps insisting you're wrong?
I stay silent. I think to myself, does it matter? Will this help me grow? If not, I don't respond. I redirect my energy to my own improvement.
Exactly. And here's another scenario. Your friends want to gossip about someone else. How do you handle that?
I smile politely and say nothing. Or I say, I'd rather not discuss this. Simple, calm, and keeps my energy safe.
That's the power of focused silence. You're not rude, you're protecting yourself and staying true to your goals.
And in English learning, it works too. Instead of blurting out mistakes to impress others, you think, pause, and then speak clearly. It shows confidence and control.
Exactly. Role-playing these situations helps you train your mind. Over time, staying silent in the right moments becomes natural, and focusing on yourself becomes a habit.
Remember, silence isn't absence. Silence is strategy. It's choosing when to act, when to speak, and when to grow quietly.
All right, listeners, let's boost your English with some useful words from today's episode. Ready, Liam?
Absolutely. Here's the first one. Pause rule. Taking a moment before responding to think clearly. Example. I used the pause rule before answering emails to stay professional.
Second, boundaries. Limits you set to protect your peace or energy. Example, I set boundaries and avoid gossip at work.
Third, observation. Watching and learning from others without reacting immediately. Example, by quiet observation, I learned natural English expressions.
Fourth, self-awareness. Understanding your thoughts and emotions. Example, self-awareness helps me control my reactions.
Fifth, invest in yourself, spending time or energy to grow personally or professionally. Example, I invest in myself by practicing English every day.
Sixth, inner strength. Mental and emotional power to stay calm and focused. Example, her inner strength helped her ignore negativity.
And seventh, strategic silence, choosing when to speak and when to stay quiet. Example, strategic silence allowed me to handle the argument wisely.
Try using these words in your daily life and English practice. They're not just vocabulary, they're tools to grow, focus, and stay powerful.
Exactly. Using these words correctly will help you sound more confident and thoughtful in conversations.
We've covered so much today, Liam. Let's recap. Focusing on yourself and staying silent isn't weakness, it's a choice. A choice to protect your energy, learn, and grow.
That's right. We talked about self-awareness, setting boundaries, observing quietly, and investing your silence into personal growth. And we even practiced role-playing real situations.
Remember, obstacles like fear, ego, and social pressure will come. But every time you pause, stay silent, or focus on yourself, you're strengthening your inner power.
And for English learners, this is crucial. Pausing before speaking, listening carefully, and focusing on your improvement will make your English more confident and natural.
So, here's your call to action. Start small. Practice the pause rule today, set one boundary, observe one conversation quietly, and invest a few minutes in yourself. See the difference silence can make.
And don't forget to share this episode with friends who might need a reminder about the power of focusing on themselves. Comment below with one moment today where you chose silence and felt stronger.
Thank you for spending this time with us on Speak English with Mishu. Keep practicing, keep growing, and remember, the quietest actions often create the loudest results.
Stay focused, stay silent, and most importantly, stay powerful. See you next time.